Hello. Right. I need to pin my video. There we go. How are you doing? You can unmute yourself if you want to. You don't have to be muted.
Very well, thank you. How are you, Anya?
Very well. Excited to be back, to see you. Very nice.
Good job.
A little bit overwhelming at the moment, but it will all be. it's that kind of having taken over from someone who had her baby 4 weeks early and didn't leave any handover notes. That kind of overwhelming.
Yes, I can imagine.
What to do. It's really lovely to be back. Anything I need to know how you, Emma? Have you got any aches or pains? How was your summer?
Yeah, really good. Thanks. We just been to the Isles of Scilly for a couple of weeks camping, which was really, really nice. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm all good. Usual. My back's not brilliant, but then it's not, anything particularly bad. But yeah, no, otherwise.
Is it not brilliant when you're lifting and carrying, or just all the time? Are you slightly?
Mainly, I think it's the lifting and the carrying. That's
Okay. We can do something about that. Alex, all well. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but by all means do. Just to say, this is so I share this video, the recording, with people, and we don't tend to chat that much at the beginning of class, but because this is the first one, and you might want to just fill me in if you've got anything to chat about. Otherwise, always, feel free to contact me in the middle of the week if there's anything particular you want to.
Thank you. Yeah, no, all is well.
Good. Okay. I am expecting other people, but let's get going just because your time is precious. We're going to start standing. So what I thought we would do for the first session today, given that, possibly you haven't been doing that much Pilates / movement, and especially if there are aches and pains, etc. Today we're going to sort of ease ourselves in, a lot of breathing, a lot of just connecting to how our bodies feel at the moment. Oh, here's Julia. And taking it fairly slow, literally, so it's not going to be a very fast-paced class, but it doesn't mean to say it's not going to be making you feel alive in your body. But do pause, take a lower level if you feel that you need to. There's no performance on this, and also you've got the video, so we're going to do things like single leg stretch. I will show you 3 stages. You can start with the smaller stage, the sort of more basic stage, and then build up. And when you do this class again, if you do, you can try to do the more advanced. I don't like that technology, that sort of, what's the word? Clarification of advanced versus basic, but you know what I mean. So we're going to start standing. Julia, all well? Any aches or pains that I need to know about? Okay. So let's just organise your body in a lovely standing position. Just see how you're feeling at the moment. I need to get back into working out where my camera is on this laptop. So I want you to place your feet directly underneath the 2 bony parts of your pelvis. Just have a little feel, notice where they are. Try and feel that you're nice and grounded through the feet. So lift up all the toes and release them down as if you're just softly playing a piano underneath the toes. You want to connect each toe individually down underneath you. And then before we kind of think about the rest of the body, I want you just to stand up onto the toes. So lift the heels up and then release them down. And we'll do this about 3 or 4 times, just quite quickly, lifting and then just sort of softly releasing yourself back down onto your heels. Last one. And then see whether that's changed the way that you feel that your feet are connecting into the floor. And then begin to allow the awareness to come up the legs. So think about your knees. Do you feel like you need to soften the knees a little bit? Are they feeling quite locked? Just notice how the knees feel. Think about your awareness coming up towards your pelvis. Maybe take your hands onto that space for a moment. Seeing if you can just sort of breathe into that lower belly area. And then just let the arms release down by your side, but bring the palms to face forward. So consciously letting the shoulder blades kind of relax onto the back of the body a little bit. So you might feel the front of the body feels like it's opening And then I want you just to think about the back of the head. Can you imagine that the back of your head is in line with your shoulder blade? So is it normally sort of resting slightly forward? How does it feel to, without lifting your chin, just softly press the back of the head ever so slightly back? It might feel really weird. So just notice where you normally feel like you hold your body, your head. Does it kind of loll forward? And then let's just look over the left shoulder. And then back through center, looking over the right. So we're just kind of gently massaging the head at the end of the spine, just going from side to side, chin parallel to the floor. Let's do one more on either side. Notice whether it feels tight on one side compared to the other. And then we're going to take the nose and the chin over to one shoulder. And I want you to look down. So let that let that chin drop down towards the shoulder. And make sure your arms are heavy and relaxed. So we're palms still facing forward, but not if it feels rigid. So you can let them just release down if you need to. And then I want you just to keep this length of the neck, but you're just going to rotate the head at the end of the spine. So now your ear is guiding towards the shoulder, not your chin. Does that make sense? And then back through center, you're just going to, back towards the shoulder, you're going to rotate. And then back. So if it feels in any way too much pressure, then come back through center. But this is quite a nice way of literally kind of oiling the joints, lubricating around the neck a little bit. And this time you're going to come through center and then just look up if you can. So allow the nose to wander towards the ceiling. See how it feels. And then bring the head back through center. You'll notice my shoulder was lifting up, my neck's very tight at the moment, so that's interesting. Let's go over to the other side and then look down. So softly dropping the chin, relaxing the opposite shoulder, trying not to allow it to pull up the way that mine was wanting to do. And then you're going to do a little rotation again. So starting just by looking towards the front, but keeping the neck over to that side, and then look down. And then twisting. And then look down, really trying to soften the shoulders all the time so we're not allowing any tension to creep up towards the ears. And on this next one, just look a little bit further up. So you're just rotating a little bit more on where the skull meets the neck. You might hear a little bit of juicy lubrication going on in the neck. And then come back through center. Bringing the arms more consciously, palms facing forward. And I want you to float the arms out, breathing in, lovely deep breath in, all the way out and up. So as far as you feel comfortable without letting the shoulders rise up towards the ears. So feel like the shoulder blades stay soft on the back. And then breathing out to float the arms down. Breathing in. And breathe out. One more like this, just floating the arms up, reaching wide, soft neck, soft shoulders, and then pressing all the way down. And then I want you to take the arms out to shoulder height. And from here, imagine that your pelvis and your hips stay the same level. And we're going to just allow the shoulders and the chest to open up. So I want you just to imagine your heart center just gently opening towards the ceiling. And then you're going to close forward and just give yourself a little hug as you round the back. And then open again, looking up. So you don't have to open the chest if that feels difficult on the neck. I just want you to think more about the rib cage, trying not to let the hips move. So think about just that opening through the mid-center of the body, the rib cage, middle of the spine. And then give yourself a little hug. So remember to alternate the arm that goes over the top each time. So we tend to favor these things. Let's do one more little hug. And then releasing the arms down by your side. Let's come into a little calf stretch. So take your left leg, sorry, that was my right leg. Take your left leg and place it back behind you. Just a sort of small stride. And I want you still to be hip width apart with your feet. So we're not walking on a tightrope. You want to feel like you've got a little bit of base of support there. And this right leg wants to bend slightly, but you're not taking your hip with it. So keep that hip Both hips square in front of you as you press that left leg back. Notice the top of your body, check you're not doing that opening movement that we've just done, but instead stacking the rib cage over the hips, head over the rib cage. Soften the body. That feels okay, doesn't it? So really pressing that back heel down behind you. Now we're going to add a little balance element. So from here, standing strong into this right foot, you're going to press into the foot and lift that left knee up. And then you're going to send it right back and come back into that. So we're doing a kind of stridey stretch. So let's press in and lift, and then lengthen, release it back. Soft engagement now. Each time, just lift a little bit more deeply into your pelvic floor. So let's think back passage, squeeze through to front. So you're kind of connecting through your center, and especially as you lift that leg, we're feeling nice and supported through the lower belly. You've got 2 more like this. And then reach away. Last one. And lower. Now we can either stay here, or you've got a little bit more intensity if you want. So we're going to, instead of just coming back into this calf stretch, you can come a bit further into a little more of a lunge. Make sure your knee doesn't go all the way over the toes. We want to keep it quite directly over the ankle if you can. And then from here, you're going to reach up and lift. So we're coming a little bit more dynamically into that movement. And as you come down, I want you to lift your arms up. And then lift the knee. And reach. So again, you can come into that calf stretch if that's better. And lift. Pressing the arms ever so slightly back just to help you, help you come into your little balance. And lift. Last one. And lift, and then release it back, hip width apart, and just allow your body to absorb that for a moment. So close your eyes if that feels comfortable, and let your shoulders soften. Just notice how the ankles feel, the hips, whether you can feel your heart rate a little bit higher, how you're feeling generally through the body. Just take a few breaths. You can even come back to that lovely in breath to lift the arms, out breath to close, if that helps you, for 3 breaths. In and out. The last one. And out. And we're going to go to the other side. So you can stay facing the same way. For some reason I want to pivot the other way, but I'm not sure why. It doesn't make a difference how it feels. So from here, from this hip width position, we're going to stand back just into your calf stretch. Check your hips are square, and then come into that little bend of that front knee. So it's not a very deep, intense stretch, but you want to keep the upper body connected and balanced. We're not counterposing and we're not hanging forward. So just really thinking about pressing that back heel back, relaxing the shoulders, and breathe. Softly draw into your lower belly connection. So I want you just to take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just draw your lower belly up and in. So imagining from the pubic bone, you're trying to zip up your connection towards your navel. So it's just a very deep connection between the hip, in between the hip bones, that space. And then you want to float the right knee up and in. And then release it back down. So a little bit dynamic, but you can slow it down if you need to. We're going to do 5 of these where you're just standing back into your calf stretch and then pulling that knee up and in, and then send it away. So really working through the ankle joints, finding your balance. I think this is the last one. I haven't been counting that well. And then from here, let's find that little lunge. So again, you can stay in the quad stretch, in the calf stretch if you want, just straight. Otherwise, starting with this little lunge, making sure the knee doesn't go too far over their foot. So we're going to keep it over the ankle, only going deep as far as you feel you can still stay upright with the upper body. So breathing in. And as you breathe out, let's lift. Actually, I'm going to come off my hand because my mat's really squishy and it's making me fall over. And then lift. My head. And down into your lunge. And then lift. And this time adding the arms. And pressing the arms back behind you, just giving yourself a little bit more gauging of where the upper body is. 2 more. and lift. Last one. And lift. And then back through center, release the foot down. And just come back into that sense of how the body's feeling. Feet, ankles, hips, heart rate, active lower belly, shoulders, head. And on your next out breath, we're going to come into a roll down. So I want you just to softly lengthen the back of your neck. Let the crown of the head begin to just pull your energies forward. Imagine that you're rolling over a washing line. So you want to feel deeply lifted through your center, but you're letting the head, the shoulders, the neck really relax. If you want to, come against a wall so you can rest your bum to give you a little bit more kind of support. As long as your feet are away from the wall, so we're not going to kind of topple ourselves over. Breathing in. Breathing out, soften the knees as much as you need to, just rolling yourself up, bone by bone, rebalancing. Pelvis, rib cage, head. Let's do 3 more of these. So take a lovely deep breath at the top, relax those shoulders, and breathing out. Rolling all the way down. Take an extra breath as much as you need to, so don't worry about holding your breath. And rolling up. The theory is that it's easier to roll through the rib cage if you're closing it by exhaling. So you allow a little bit more mobility through the ribs when you're releasing the air rather than when you're inhaling. But it doesn't mean that you can't stop to take an extra breath if you need it. Lengthen, relax those shoulders. Let's do 1 more, no rush when you're ready. Breathing in and breathing out. Nod the head yes at the bottom. So really allow your neck, your shoulders to be free. Maybe grab your elbows, allowing there to be a little bit of draw on the shoulder blades on the back. So just relaxing all the muscles around the mid-spine. And then releasing the arms down. And let's restack bone by bone. Relax the shoulders into the body. And let's come down onto your mat. So we're going to start with some spine curls. So what I thought I would say is, for those of you who have a wall next to you, if you do have one, we're going to do our regular spine curls. So Alex, where I will talk you through, but lifting the hips and rolling back down, fluid, lovely movement of the spine. But if you want to, and you have a wall or even a sofa or bed nearby, and you can get your feet up in this position here, so your knees are kind of 90-degree angle, and you want a little bit more oomph for the movement, you can do exactly the same movement with the feet lifted. So it just sort of encourages the glute muscles to have a little bit more involvement, and it's really luscious for the spine. So Emma would be a really nice way of kind of lengthening and softening out through the spine. So try that, if not now, if you need to sort of find a better place to do your, to experiment, try it later. And otherwise we will just start whichever position you're in, wherever your feet are. Think about the upper body for now. So make sure if you need it, you've got a little pillow underneath the head to feel supported, so the shoulders can completely relax. And I just want you to breathe in this position. Notice whether you need to consciously slow your breath, or whether you already feel that your breath automatically begins to slow when you're in that lovely horizontal position. It might be the first time you've been there since you woke up. So allow gravity to do its thing. Imagine around your hip sockets, your shoulders, the back of the neck. Everything is just relaxing. The muscles are really softening. There's nothing switched on. And from here, I want you to connect your feet with whichever surface they're in. I think you're all on the floor. So really have that sense of all 10 toes just padding down and connecting down into the floor. And you're going to really want to keep that connection all the way through this movement. So often the toes like to ping themselves up, and we want to keep them grounded and soft, as if you're kind of just sitting in sticky mud, sticky nice sand. So taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, let's find that lower belly connection. So without tucking your pelvis first, I want you to see if you can draw in through the lower belly, maybe just softly drawing in the abdominal muscles, but also think about the pelvic floor lifting up. So that hammock of your pelvis gently drawing up and in. See whether that makes you feel just gently more supported around the lower spine area. And on your next out breath, you're going to tuck your tailbone underneath you and start to wheel your spine off the mat. Bone by bone, rolling up to about the lower rib area, around about the bra strap area. Keep the top of your ribs connected as if they're kind of softly tucked in towards the top of your trousers. So we're not pinging the rib cage up towards the ceiling. We want to feel like the front of your body is active, like there are taut elastic bands between the bottom of the rib cage and the top of the pelvis. Breathe in here. Breathe out, roll it down, melt through the spine. Let's do 4 more like this. So just gently rolling, wheeling up. String of pearls, bicycle chain, whatever image works for you to imagine your spine working in a lovely fluid motion. Notice how it feels, if it feels a bit creaky in any section of the spine for you. See what it would take to allow it just to soften, maybe taking it slower, maybe breathing a bit more. Notice if your glutes are working here to lift the weight of your hips. Maybe try and squeeze them if you're not feeling them consciously working, particularly if your hamstrings are kicking in the backs of your thighs, yes. Words are the wrong word there. Last one, lifting up. And you're going to stay there in this bridge position with your bum lifted. And I want you to float the arms up towards the ceiling and bring the palms to face each other. So we're just lifting the bum here, and I want you to feel like you're feeling it's actively working. So let's give a little squeeze, and then let's ever so slightly relax, but so that you know how much you need to work to keep the spine lifted. Let's breathe in, open the arms out to the side. Breathe out, close them, stay lifted with the bottom. We're going to do that 3 times. Open out. And close. And last one, open, keep the bum, the lower belly active, and close. And then you're going to open one last time. And this time, as you close, you're going to roll the spine down. So imagine coordinating those movements together so the bottom reaches the floor just as your fingertips lengthen towards each other. Let's do that again. We're going to open as we roll up this time. And close as we roll down. 2 more like this. Inhale to lift and open the arms. Exhale, closing it down. Last one. Open to lift. And close to release the bum all the way down. Keep the arms where they are, and this time sort of reach the fingertips more actively towards the ceiling, but keep the shoulder blades softened towards the floor. We're going to do some shoulder drops. Lift up as you breathe in. Let's lift the left arm up towards the ceiling so you'll feel the shoulder blade peeling off the mat. And breathe out, drop it down. Other side, lift, and you might feel a little rotation through the rib cage. Keep looking up and breathe out. Release it down. Let's do 2 more either side. Lift, lift, lift. Really stretching and opening the shoulder blades away from the floor and drop it down. Lift. And last one either side. Lift. And last one on the right, or whichever side you started on. And release it down. Little circles with the arms. That's just as if you're gently stirring little clouds above you. And change direction. And then I want you to bring the palms to face forward. And from here, make sure you've got nothing around you, which is why I just moved my glass of water, because I often just knock over my glass of water willy-nilly, and I don't want you to do that. So we're going to take a breath in, and I want you to imagine as we move that your pelvis is really heavy, so it's not going to tilt, it's not going to kind of lift up in movement, and your rib cage is similarly grounded. So imagine that little connection between the bottom of the rib and the top of the pelvis. So we've got a nice, solid, connected, active unit for the torso. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, reach the arms back behind you. So lengthen the fingertips away without bringing the rib cage with them, and then float them all the way back. And then you're going to press the arms forward as you gently nod the chin to the chest and curl up. So you're just going to look down towards your belly, draw the belly in, and again, we're not tucking the spine, we're not bringing the pubic bone towards you, you're keeping it heavy. And then float the arms up, follow the fingers with your nose, and then pause with your nose, but let your fingers release back. And the arms come up. Nod the nose forward. Imagine you're kind of pushing a little pillar, a little pole down towards your thighs. Curling up, looking down towards your pubic bone, drawing the belly in. Let's do 2 more like this. The arms come up. The arms go all the way back behind you. And then lift, pressing away. Imagine there's substance, so you're pressing something down towards your thighs. And then lift. Bum is heavy, even when you're curling up, there's no movement of the spine. Last one, lifting up. And pressing it away. Long neck, look down towards your pubic bone, draw your belly in. And then lift up. Keep the bum, the head, the rib cage heavy, reach the arms back. And this time, this is why you needed to check for your glasses of water. You're going to open the arms out by your side and bring them down towards your hips. Palms face down at the end, and you're going to float them back up all the way, lengthen them back behind you, and then palms up as you circle the arms. And then you're just going to gently flip the palms as you come down towards the hips. And lengthen back up again. Good, so we're just really working into the chest, the muscles around the armpits. Might feel like quite a big stretch depending on how much you've been kind of hunching over a computer. Let's do 1 more in this direction. And then you're going to pause at the top. And then from here, pressing it forward. And opening it out and around. And this time, instead of going all the way up, we're going to just pause and bend the elbows and allow your arms just to settle. See how this feels. If it feels really uncomfortable, obviously adjust the movement and the position of your elbows so that you don't feel uncomfortable, but notice where you feel the most tightness or the most change in the balance. So you should, ideally, we want to feel like our shoulder blades are heavy, the collarbones are wide, and the arms can just rest softly with the palms open. Often we like to kind of clench our fingertips into a fist, aren't we? Just to see if you can unfurl them a little bit. And then from here, you're going to reach the arms into a wide V, and then just walk your feet together. Now, either keep the feet on the floor. If you know and like this exercise and you want to give it a little bit more oomph, float the legs one by one into a double knee fold, but squeezing those legs together. So imagine you're wearing one legging around both legs. We're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, drawing in through your lower belly, really tight, drawing through those inner thighs to connect the legs, you're going to just tilt across to the left. Imagine that you're rolling in a cylinder. So you're not letting your legs drop away from you, but you're keeping them connected, drawn in towards your center with your abdominal muscles. Breathing in, breathe out, bring it back through center. Let's breathe in to go across to the other side. Reach with the opposite fingertips. So really feel like you're stretching and opening through the top of your body. Breathing out back through center. Let's do 2 more either side. So either with the feet down or feet up, exactly the same breathing. Breathe out, back through center. In to come to the side. Make sure that your spine isn't arching, so keeping those lower abdominals nice and active. Let's come over to the left to begin to finish. Last one. Back through center. And over to the right. And back. Lovely. Now we've got a really nice little stretch. So bringing the arms to shoulder height. You're going to roll across back to the left, or the starting side, and all the way over. So with control, releasing your legs all the way down. And I want you to place your left hand on the top of your right thigh. And this right arm is lengthening all the way out to the right. You can look over to the right if that feels right, okay for your neck. But I want you to kind of experiment here with little snow angel, half snow angel arms. So drawing little circles like we just did with both arms, but just with one. And I want you to find if there's a sweet spot for you where you really feel like you need to stretch into that pec muscle. So we hold so much tightness on these front muscles around our chest. This is your opportunity to just give it a little massage. If you want a little bit of extra hamstring hip stretch and you're game for anything, I want you to reach across for your right foot and stretch out that leg. So you're in a kind of open starfish position. Breathe into this lovely opening. And then just release that right leg. Coming back with control through center. Maybe just hug your knees into your chest for a moment in the center if you need to, maybe ironing out a little bit in a thigh stretch. Coming back to your open arms, and let's roll across to the other side with control, lowering down all the way. Taking your right hand, just placing on the top of that left thigh. So you give yourself just a little bit more kind of awareness of where your leg is. Open up through the chest, reaching that arm. So we're trying to twist here in the shoulder, rib cage area. Really breathe into that space. Notice where it feels tight. And then let's do a little half snow angels, reaching up to the top and then all the way down and around. Now for me, I'm tighter on this side in the kind of lower part of the snow angel area than I am on the other. So you may find that it's different compared from one arm compared to the other. And if you want to, grabbing hold of that left leg with your right arm and creating this little starfishy type position. It's quite an unusual position to find yourself in. We don't often take our bodies into unfamiliar positions, do we? We don't do it enough. Just think about what a child would do quite happily, just contort themselves. Breathe into this. And then just relaxing that foot back down, bringing the knees back through center. Let's reach through the center of your knees to grab hold of your ankles and come into a little adductor stretch. And then from here, you're nice and warm and open through the chest now, and you've warmed up through the abdominals. So let's come into a double knee fold position. And I want you to take your hands around your left leg. So the right hand on the knee, the left hand just gently reaching down towards the ankle. Now, 2 or 3 levels for this. I'm going to demo it first with the head down. Single leg stretch. So you're sending your right leg away, and then you're going to change. So we're swapping the hand position, drawing the legs in, reaching the other leg away. So imagine you're pressing a little pedal away. So there's active pressure through that foot. Let's do one more either side like this. And if you want to, we're going to curl up. So we're sending the leg away. You can send it a little bit lower if you know you can control the lower abdominals and the spine. So we don't want the lower back to be arching when you're moving. You don't want it to be tilting. I want you to draw the leg in, looking down towards your belly if you can. So really scooping those abdominals. Head stays down, the leg stays high. If this goes into your back at all, let's do one more either side. And then back through center. Stay curled if you can. Take the hands around the back of the head and lengthen your legs away above you. Legs together, heels together, toes apart. So kind of like a little Pilates stance. And your head can go all the way down if you want, but this is still lots of work on the abdominals. So really keep the knees bent if you need to. Let's take a breath in. And I want you here to draw in through the lower abdominals. Breathe out, send the legs away only as far as you can without it going into your lower back, and then bring it back. So it may not be very far. Let's do it again. Send it away and bring it back. 2 more. If this is going to your lower back at all, keep it really bent and just do a little bend and release. Let's do 1 more. And then release it down, bring the knees in. Send your legs and your arms away. Lovely full body stretch. Breathing in. Let's take your left knee in towards you, hip flexor stretch. Lengthening your right leg away. Breathe. Really let the area around the hips completely soften. The shoulders relax. And then change, bring the right leg in, send the left leg away. Relaxing the shoulders down. Letting this left leg be really heavy so you can open up into the hip joint as much as you need to. And then from here, we're going to lengthen into the hamstring on this side. We'll do the other side after, don't worry. Pressing, heel away. So imagine you're standing on the ceiling above you. It doesn't matter if your leg is slightly bent. I want you to think more about the heel and the sit bone reaching away from each other. And let's circle the ankle. And change direction. And then bring that back in. Float the left knee in, release the right leg away, and come into the hamstring on this side, flexing into the heel. Notice if one side feels a little bit tighter than the other. And then circle the ankle. Trying to get a real movement in the ankle joint as opposed to just wiggling your toes or shimmying the whole leg around. Change direction. And back in through center. Let's take the hands around the back of the thighs, or you can just roll onto your side and press yourself up. We're going to rock ourselves. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, rocking yourself up to sitting. And we're just going to come into a little 4-point kneeling position. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Lengthening. Imagine when you were standing earlier on, the same feeling, the back of the head, shoulder blades, tailbone all in one line. Lovely deep breath in. And as you breathe out, draw in through the lower abdominal. So imagine you're kind of softly lifting your abdominal wall away from the floor, but without moving your spine. So just take a moment to see if you can practice that. Breathing in, soft belly. Breathing out, hugging your lower belly in and up. So from almost from the rib cage to the pubic bone, but without moving your spine. Do one more time, once more. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then tuck the tailbone underneath you. Let's come into your cat. And send it away into your lovely movement. Cat through to cow. Open. 2 more. Do a little rocking cat if you quite like the fluid movement, imagining you're a little wave. Rolling. Undulating. I know I quite like doing that at the end of a fairly static day. And then when you're ready, opening the knees nice and wide and sending your bum all the way back towards the heels. Lengthen the arms out. Rest the forehead down. And just breathe in this position. So allowing the arms to lengthen, so you may feel a bit more stretch around the shoulder area. If that's too much, just tuck your arms around you. Make yourself a little stone. And allow yourself just to be held and supported by the floor. Breathing into the back of your body. Now you can either stay here for as long as you want. Just allowing the breath to massage into the back and the hips, kidney area, buttocks. Or you can ever so gently roll yourself up and lay yourself down either onto your side or onto your back. And revisit the lovely breath that we did at the beginning. In for a count of 5 or 6 as you floated the arms. So we're just going to do it lying still, just listening to the body. Trying to lengthen your exhalation. So see if you can breathe in for a count of 5 and out for 6 or 7. In for 5, out for 6 or 7. And just remain here for as long as you feel comfortable and supported. See if you can continue this lovely slowed breathing rate to take you into your bed. It's been lovely to see you all, and I will see you next week. Stay here for as long as you can, and I'll share the recording later. Much love to you.